Hi, everyone. I was inspired by the theme of tonight's meeting to talk about my 40 plus year love affair with coffee. My daily cadence, my daily ritual is to brew coffee that I roasted in my home and to put it in a thermos, drink it throughout the workday. I still love coffee, despite the fact that I'm totally used to it. I still get a thrill out of it. I get a little high from drinking coffee. My first encounter with drinking coffee was when I was about 12 years old at Boy Scout camp. And some friends and I snuck into the counselor's tent. We all poured ourselves a little cup of coffee to try it out, just to see what. There wasn't anything harder than coffee in the tent. So that's what we had. We had some coffee. Everyone else adulterated it with cream and sugar, and I said to myself, I'm gonna be a man and I'm gonna have it black. I've been drinking it black ever since. But I didn't drink coffee every day for many years until I was in college. My freshman year, I would use it as sort of a pick-me-up for when I had to present a proof or do something difficult in class. Maybe every week or two, I would have a cup of coffee right before class, and then I'd be totally wired, ready to present, totally on. I started drinking it every day the summer after my freshman year when I was working on a hiking trail crew in Western Maryland. We would all brew it together for the crew, and I found that when you're doing physical labor, coffee is also really helpful. I ran straight into the second wave. Up till that point, I had only had dining hall coffee, Folgers, grocery store coffee. And then when I was in my third year of college, I started getting high quality beans from a coffee shop in Santa Fe called O'Horry's, or my professor would bring in coffee beans from the San Francisco Bay Area, from Pete's. The second wave of coffee in America was characterized by dark roast beans, by espresso drinks. I never had any interest in lattes or cappuccinos or things like that. But espresso, definitely of interest to me. Later on, maybe 10, 15 years later, a new coffee shop moved into the Mission called Ritual. And this was part of the third wave of coffee, a more artisanal approach, a focus on brewing the beans and getting the flavor from the beans. So the philosophy of third wave coffee is to do a light roast. And when you do a light roast, you're getting the characteristics of the bean as opposed to the characteristics of the roast. So if there are particular flavors, that a taste of caramel or a taste of fruit or something like that in that particular bean, you'll taste it because you haven't roasted everything out of it. We started buying Ritual from the grocery store every week. And that turned out to be a rather expensive proposition. So a few years after I'd been doing that for a while, I went to this thing called Maker Faire. Maker Faire is a big gathering, sort of like an expo, where they have presentations, different people have booths where they're showing the cool thing that they've made. I went to a presentation by Sweet Maria's, a company in Oakland that imports coffee beans from different farms and different producers all over the world. And what they presented was how to roast your own beans. It turns out it's really easy to roast your own beans. And it's also really easy to get the equipment to roast your own beans. All you need is an old style air popper for popcorn. You take about a 1/4 pound of beans and you throw them in the air popper, and then you turn it on. There's this stuff surrounding the green beans called chaff, and the air popper spits out the chaff. So maybe you need a bowl to pick up all the chaff, and it just spins them around, roasts them evenly. It's a kind of a DIY, semi-high-tech version of what people used to do 100 years ago, which is take a metal thing that held the beans and turn it up and down in a fire. Now you've got this thing spinning, it spits out the chaff, roasts the beans, and you can do that perfectly. You can pick up a West Bend Poppery 2 at a thrift store for a couple bucks. Now you've got your own home coffee roaster. So I did that for several months. Started saving a ton of money because to buy some beans from Sweet Maria's costs $7 or $8 a pound, as opposed to 20 for 12 ounces of Ritual beans. And it's every bit as good. I bought a dedicated machine, a few $100. It's got this metal drum, it spins them around in front of an element, and it roasts them all evenly. I'm a creature of habit, so I just follow a cadence of how much time has elapsed instead of doing what connoisseurs do, which is tune it, open it up, just get a little bit of coolness in, close it up, listen for the pops. I just know, okay, this particular bean, it's gonna be ready at this time. I set a timer, I I say it's gonna turn off at that time, and then I just let it go. As far as I'm concerned, those are as good as any coffee beans I've ever had. So here's my call to action. If you like coffee, the way to really start enjoying it is to start roasting your own. Because not only do you get to save a ton of money, but also now your life will revolve around the cadence of the roasting cycle. Thank you.